Estrid looked at him, and I'm not gonna sit up here and lie to you, Loki's an ugly baby, but to be fair, I'd say in IRL, right? In real life, on this earth, there's like 80% of babies when they're first born, they look like aliens. Is this the first time that we've gotten a poopy mom in the series? Typically, it's always the dads. Always the dads are the worst people in the world, and the moms, they're loving, caring, they sacrifice themselves from the kids. Nah, in this one, oh, Loki, his mother's terrible. His mother might be a top 3 worst parent in the series. Low-key, like I said, the only people I could think of is maybe Vinsmoke, Judge, and I can't really think of other people off the top of my head like that. But this is One Piece chapter 1153, and it was pretty gas. We continue with the Harald flashback because we know that he was scum, but what exactly caused the shift in his mentality, caused the change to allow him to be this peace-loving giant? Well, in this chapter, the flashback, it starts off with Harald. He was friends with Dory and Bragi, so they were alive back then. Obviously, giants have different lifespans, and the reason why Harald is so angry, arrogant, and scum is because he's an ancient giant, has the horns, and we know with ancient giants they are stronger, bigger than normal giants. So Harald obviously became arrogant because he was pretty much better than other people, and I don't want to necessarily say that because I don't really love saying that someone is better than someone. I think everybody is different, but in Harald's case, he believed that being born an ancient giant made him better, hence why he was just an arrogant bum. Like, I was about to say something really mean, but just arrogant. One thing I found funny, and I love this from Elbaph, I had been raving about wanting to see Oda scale and how he treated giants compared to other people, because Harald's sitting on his boat, he's saying that everyone outside of Elbaph is weak and puny, picking his nose, and he flung a booger at, I don't know if it was a ship or if it was a creature in the water, but regardless, he did it, and the monster or whatever it was went flying in the air just off of a booger, off of a boogie. They're in the New World, they are in the kingdom of Bunt, and there is a giant that has appeared to be chained up. Well, not chained up, but she's inside a cage, and it looks like she's some sort of tourist attraction for a circus. And Harald, obviously, who is all about giants are superior, giants are better, he's like, okay, nah, a giant from Elbaph shouldn't be looked at like this. However, Harald, he ends up saving this girl, and he ends up trashing the town or the city that she was at, and Harold's like, hey, you don't gotta worry about it, I saved you. The girl literally slapped him, and it's like, oh, Harald, like, what the heck? And I love it. All right, I love me a feisty woman. I love me a woman that stands on business, fights for what she believes in, and she slapped the mess out of this dude. Harald, who is this superior giant, he's never experienced something like this, and I love what she said. I don't remember her name, and I'll look back at it. Ida said something that flipped his world upside down. Ida's like, hey, little dolls, what's that supposed to mean? You just so happen to be born big. You just so happen to be strong. That doesn't necessarily make you better than them, it just makes you arrogant. You have to understand them, because sure, they might not be as strong as you, they might not be as big as you, but they probably have something that you can learn from that they're better than you at. This caused Harald to reflect, because Ida, she went back and she started assisting with the rebuild, and Harold's like, just because I was born big, huh? He saw her smile. Hey, it's just her personality. Personally, she ain't my type. She ain't my type. So Harald loves him, a feisty woman that looks like that. Like I said, all people need love, just not for me. And guess what? It doesn't matter, because Harald loved her. And so in seeing her smile, he orders his men. He's like, hey, go help them rebuild. And he starts opening it up, becoming a little bit more soft. And honestly, that girl got him wrapped around her finger. But if you guys enjoy regular reviews like these, make sure you guys like the video, subscribe to the channel, and hit the notification bell so you guys never miss out on a new video. I put about different One Piece content almost each and every day. The more Harald interacts with humans, the more he notices, like I said, different things that they excel in and that they can learn from. And the more he spends time with Ida, the more that he enjoys the humans, right? The little kids and just normal people. He's out there celebrating with him, and this causes the shift in his mentality, the change to make him more of a pacifist and wanting to learn more about humans. So in his time with Ida, like I said, learns more not only about her, but about the people around him. And Harald decides, like, all right, as king, I intend to travel overseas frequently, and I hope to, like I said, learn more about humans, and wants to learn more about the world, and hopefully it not only helps them but helps Elbaph as well. And other giants like, hey, Dorian and Broggy, they're never going to stop running wild. What are you talking about? But of course, Harald has influence him, one as king, but number two as friends. If he talks to them and they already are kind towards different humans, he's like, hey, they're definitely going to side with me, right? I definitely think that this change is good because, yes, obviously the giants, they are mighty individuals, especially if you're an ancient giant. But let's be honest, right? The giants are good. The giants are strong, in quotes, and typically compared to the average person in One Piece, you're taking a human or a giant. You're probably taking a giant, but eventually they're going to fight against strong people. There's Zoros out there. There's Shankses out there, Luffy's, Garb, and I can name a bunch of people, right? So yeah, like I think allying with them and not necessarily seeing whose dick is bigger, that's pretty cool. This is where Harald, he decided to shift Elbaph mentality, and as we know what it is today, how we can exchange different things with different countries, we can have cultural understandings, and I love this. This is what countries should strive to do. Ida and Harald, they're in love with each other. They have a baby we know is Hajrudin. We know that she is not from Elbaph, and so they're ready to go to the castle. All of a sudden the higher ups are like, oh nope, we don't permit anyone that does not have a pure blood or royal blood. They're not permitted within the family. So of course Ida and Harald, they're outcasts, and the way that they described it was that they lived a terrible life. No, the people of Elbaph like Ida, the people of Elbaph like Hajrudin, just not the higher ups or people that were affiliated with Harald. So like I said, I think the way that Oda depicted it in the beginning was like Ida lived this tragic life. She didn't. I mean, she may have in the next chapters or a few chapters from now, but at least in this chapter she didn't. A sheep in wolf's clothing. Harald's other wife, the mother of Loki, oh, she makes her appearance. They say that beauty is good because, okay, Ida, I'm just gonna call spade a spade. Ida's not cute to me. She is not my type whatsoever. I don't think she's that cute, but Harald loves her. Compared to Harald's other wife, her name is Estrid. She's beautiful. She is a beautiful girl, but guess what? Beauty does not mean everything, because it opens the door, right? But it ain't keep you in, because this girl has a nasty personality, and she tries to seduce Harald, obviously, because he is the king, right? They need someone to have a rightful heir to be the prince. So it's not necessarily him disliking Ida, it's just the time frame thing is kind of wonky too. But slowly but surely we see Harald trying to explore the world, trying to bring Elbaph and unite it with other countries, with the world government, compared to Estrid, who is just trying to live a lavish life, trying to gain jewels and just try to, I guess you could argue, be a nasty queen that rules over everyone, kind of like what Harald was in the beginning, just arrogant and thinking that they're superior and not treating people with compassion. Especially Loki, because his story, and we haven't even really gotten into it, it's already off to a tragic start, because Loki, he is an ancient giant, right? He has Harald's blood within him, he has the horns, but Estrid looked at him, and I'm not going to sit up here and lie to you, Loki's an ugly baby, but to be fair, I'd say in IRL, right? In real life, on this earth, there's like 80% of babies when they're first born, they look like aliens. I'm not gonna lie, my nephew, and I'm not gonna post a picture of him because my sister, right, she likes to keep it private. My nephew, when he was born, he looked a little funny. I ain't gonna lie, but guess what? That is the cutest thing I've ever seen. So like I said, babies look funny, and I don't know why she thought he looked weird. Yeah, his eyes are a little bit crazy, and that's probably why he has them wrapped up now, but because of this, she ended up backing off, and he outreached his arms, and apparently it says, and I don't know if this is actually a thing IRL, but whenever a baby is rejected by their mother at a young age, and I find this to be true probably, they live just such a terrible life, a cursed life, and it's just unfortunate for the individual. Estrid, she threw Loki into the underworld, was like, nah, this dude is ugly, I don't want to claim him, I'm leaving the palace because I don't want to have any other kids, because she's supposed to have kids with Harald, and if they look like Loki, she's like, oh, I don't want them. And so she threw Loki into the underworld, and this dude is resilient because he is climbing back up as a little baby, climbing back up, and he is going to wreak havoc because they say that Loki's the accursed prince, that Harald's supposed to die to him. Ida and Hajrudin's like, hey, they can be, your little brother, y'all can be friends. Hajrudin obviously doesn't like that, and so from here on out, this is the story of Loki. We're going to shift from Harald to Loki's point of view, and probably back to Harald towards the end, or at least both Loki and Harald. But we already got the Harald stuff, and now we're going to see why this terror struck Elbaph and why they call it the Loki's curse. I thought this was a really good chapter. Not action, but guess what? Lore, and we're learning more about Elbaph, the history, learning more about Harald, learning more about Loki. Like I said, it's very unfortunate, and I'm not gonna lie, the panel of him climbing back up from the underworld, it's really sad. Like it tugged at my heart a little bit. I ain't cry, right? I'm a real YN, you already know. But I ain't cry, but it did hurt my heart a little bit. But that's it for chapter 1153. Let me know how you guys feel about this chapter in the comment section below. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Hit the notification bell so you guys never miss out on a new video. Follow my Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok is on the screen in the description below. And don't forget to unleash your potential.